What's up? Welcome back to Nostalgia. Dave here with a review of Nas' 17th album, Magic 2, collab album with Hit Boy, their fifth album in a row, and all five of those have come since 2020. Of course, the three King's Disease albums, the first two being Grammy nominated, one of which got Nas his elusive first Grammy win, as well as the first Magic album from the end of 2021. Of course, King's Disease 3 was less than a year ago at the end of 2022. Nas and Hit Boy, they've been working, and you really can't blame them because all these albums are great. This is honestly just a really inspiring late career run. I think the overwhelming through line throughout these past 3 years of Nas and Hit Boy records is that Nas is demonstrating something that used to be very rare in hip hop, which was just old heads continuing to give you good work and stay very active. Uh, Partially due to the newness of hip hop as a genre, only being around for a few decades, to now you have artists approaching their 50s, in their 50s. Nas is what, 49? Yes, 49. And he sounds so fresh on these lush Hit Boy beats. He's turning back the clock and making great music. And we've seen this with other rappers approaching their older years, continuing to give you really good work. Look at Jay-Z, look at Black Thought, look at Killer Mike. But Nas, I think, is arguably the most prolific of them all. Pusha T, another example. Nas, I just really have a lot of time for all this music. And in a sense, if you think about Nas's career, he has reinvented himself before. Of course, people counted him out, and then he released Stillmatic. People counted him out, 10 years later, and he released Life is Good, really kind of kicking off his old head run. But then after the debacle with Kanye on Nasir in 2018, he got to work with, I think, a more involved producer in Hit Boy compared to how Kanye was moving at the time. And look what you get. So, this is not actually surprising for Nas. And now, obviously, 5 albums in a row, we're expecting it. But it's just kind of been a blast. If you think about specifically Magic 2 compared to the first Magic, I think the first Magic was much more throwback, much more boom bap, much more traditionalist. And Magic 2, the production from Hit Boy is different than that. And Nas obviously still sounds great the entire time. Just kind of going through Magic 2, the second song, Abracadabra, you just have this really fun, fast flow from Nas and this really great drum tempo. And just Nas's flow just matches the beat so well. I think that one's a total banger. Office Hours, you have a nice flow from Nas once again. I really love the snare patterns from Hit Boy there. You have a 50 Cent feature on that song. Let's just say it makes sense that 50 has announced his retirement. He hasn't aged nearly as gracefully on the mic as someone like Nas. Let's leave it at that. But doesn't detract from the song. It's kind of just additive. Black Magic, track 4. Love the keys on that. Really fast flow again. Just the pockets that Nas can find in these flows just sound so effortless despite his advanced years on the mic. You just love it. Bokeem Woodbine, shout out him, great actor. Love the song title. Love the horns on that song, really nice. Motion, the fast drum tempo once again, almost like an orchestral vibe going on here, very haunting. It doesn't sound like 90s hip hop. These beats sound much more modern, but still sound great. Then my only issue with Motion is I think the hook from Nas is a bit boring, a bit underwritten. Irvin Magic Johnson, that one's really hot, like that one. And then, Nas kind of switches up a little bit further. You have What This All Really Means, the keys, the horns, much more soulful vibe from Hit Boy on that. I like that one. He's kind of going into the next song, Slow It Down. Nas getting soulful again, but this time lyrically reflecting on his age and his perspective, obviously after many years in the game, many years as a public figure, etc. And then, if Pistols on Your album cover, I think also is pretty good. And I think, honestly, my least favorite song on this is a song that came out, over a year ago as a loose single, which would be One Mic, One Gun, featuring 21 Savage. That, of course, came to be after 21 had some kind of off-the-cuff comments about Nas and his relevancy, and they buried the hatchet and made a song together. Just kind of feels like a superfluous bonus song. Doesn't really fit the rest of the production, obviously. And I mean, when I heard the song, I never really cared for it too much. I don't think it adds a lot to the album here. But overall, it's still 11 songs and only 32 minutes. It's quite brief. But like Nas himself, again, he just feels so fresh, giving his storytelling perspective on all kinds of things. And like the Hit Boy beats are so involved, but also so, I think, made for Nas. Like he just sounds right at home with Hit Boy. I mean, 5 albums in, you know what to expect, I think. But again, like the fact that they can find a spectrum of types of beats to do, and I think that's what was so fun about the first Magic, was that it was so clearly a homage to Nas's early career roots in the 90s. And to me, that one stands out just a little bit more for that. I think of a song like, what is it, 4016 Building. Like, that is like exactly my shit when it comes to boom bap. I love that one. Magic 2 doesn't quite grab me quite to that degree, but Nas himself still sounds so good. And, honestly, it's been a bit of a quiet year for rap this year in terms of just like big name releases, but also in terms of like releases making an impact broadly. I think it's just kind of been a weak crop. So I would put Magic 2 from Nas and Hit Boy towards the top of the list of hip hop albums this year. So we'll see how that holds when the year concludes. But shout out Nas, shout out Hit Boy. I think this is another great entry in this really fun run that they've been on. And honestly, odds are we get another album within the next year. Maybe it's Magic 3. Or they pick a new title to make a new trilogy. Who knows? But I don't think they're going to slow down anytime soon. But let me know, how did you feel about Nas and Hit Boy's Magic 2? How would you compare it to some of the past Nas and Hit Boy albums? And for more rap reviews, more music reviews, subscribe. And I'll see you next time.